Hi everybody, it's Christopher and welcome to Life's Not Over, It Just Looks Different on YouTube. We are 3 weeks into 2023. Happy New Year. I hope your 2023 is off to a great start. When I was thinking about my first video for the new year and sitting down to decide what to talk about, I started thinking about resolutions and changes that people want to make in their lives, whether it's kicking a habit like smoking or drinking, or trying to take on a better habit like eating better and getting fit, maybe just getting outdoors more, whatever it is. And that thought process led me to this concept of reinventing oneself. And I thought about that, and if you've been watching these videos already, you know that I did a pretty big reinvention of myself when I went from fully sighted to legally blind literally overnight. So spoiler alert for those of you who might be seeing this video or any video from my channel for the first time, that's a lot of what I talk about, is going from fully sighted to legally blind and my life with sight loss. Which, by the way, it dawned on me not that long ago that I have now spent a full third of my life as a person with sight loss. The first 2/3 were fully sighted. And then the big switch happened. Thank you, Mother Nature. And now here I am in this most recent third, not the last third, I'm still here. And it's all been with sight loss, learning how to do things different ways, having different experiences, and this really big reinvention that went on in my life. Now, the biggest reinvention, as you probably know if you've seen these videos before, was when I went from the broadcast business as a fully sighted person into financial services after I lost my eyesight. You're going to do what now? Make what kind of switch? That was kind of the reaction that I got from my friends and family when I told them that I was going into financial services after having set my heart on being in the broadcast business for so long. But why financial services? Well, a few years before my sight loss, I was getting a real interest in personal finance through reading books by authors like Robert Kiyosaki, David Bach, David Chilton, some of my favorites, that I decided that I wanted to get more into investing and saving and doing all of those things. Now, I had already been doing it for a while because I started saving for retirement back when I was about 19 or 20 years old, when I first started my registered retirement savings plan. But around those early 2000s, I was getting more and more into it with all of these books, and there was a real boom going on because there was all of these authors coming out that were talking about personal finance and shows and all of these things. So I was sort of getting caught up in the wave, I suppose, that when I needed to find a new career path after my sight loss, I thought, well, why not financial services? So I took a few courses that got me the entry point into the business, and I found my first real main gig in financial services with a discount brokerage where I was working as an investment representative, buying and selling investments, whether it be stocks, options, mutual funds, whatever it was. And one of the things that I really enjoyed about doing that job was talking to people who were new to investing, teaching them how our website worked, what investments were all about, what the terminology meant, and helping them understand it. That was where I really found my driving force in that role. And especially when the discount brokerage started offering the RDSP, the Registered Disability Savings Plan. Now, if you've seen my videos on the RDSP, you know that I am a huge fan of that program. And for the time that I was working for the discount brokerage, being able to talk about RDSPs, whether it was with clients over the phone or whether it was doing presentations in the community on behalf of the organization, I absolutely loved doing that. It was so much fun. I had to make another big switch when I went from Toronto to Calgary because I couldn't find a similar role here in Calgary. So I went to the other end of the money spectrum, as I like to call it, and started working as a credit counselor. And I really enjoyed that role as well, because now, instead of working with people who were investing and building and getting into wealth accumulation, I was what I called being at the other end of the money spectrum, because I was helping people get out of debt and get their finances back in order, and really enjoyed that as well. So I did that for a little while, and then I made another big switch when I decided that I wanted to go and work for CNIB, the Canadian National Institute for the Blind, because as a person with sight loss myself, I thought, well, I can use it to help other people with sight loss. So for 5.5 years, I had a great time working with other people with sight loss, talking to people who were new to sight loss, talking to family members of people with sight loss about what it was like to live that way, and being out in the community doing presentations about sight loss, about the services that were available for people who were facing sight loss, especially in the elderly community where age-related conditions were really starting to affect more and more people, like macular degeneration, glaucoma, cataracts, diabetic retinopathy, all these age-related conditions. And so I really enjoyed being able to talk about those things, talk to people about them, talk to people about the help that was available. And it was just a really good time to be able to do that. But eventually I decided that I needed another change. But rather than making a complete reinvention, I went back to financial services, back to the part of the money spectrum where I'm helping people get their financial house back in order, helping them understand credit and debt and how it all works, and working as a specialist on consumer proposals. Did you happen to catch that other theme that has been underlying in a lot of the roles that I've done since losing my eyesight? Whether it was the discount brokerage, working as a credit counselor, working now in the world of consumer proposals, or even that other detour I took over to CNIB and working with people with sight loss, or being in the community to talk to other people about sight loss and the services available. It's all been about helping people. That was a reinvention I didn't even plan on. I at no point thought I'm going to go off and help other people in many different ways. But that is the reinvention that has happened quite naturally, I guess. And I wouldn't change it for anything. It's been an amazing ride to be able to not only help other people in many different ways, but also to do it as a person with sight loss, because I like to think in some way that I'm helping to show, like the title of my channel says, that life's not over with sight loss, it just looks different. Pun intended. That's everything I wanted to talk about in today's video. I want to thank you very much for watching. I really do appreciate each and every one of you who watches these videos, who's clicked like down below or left a comment. Thank you so much for doing so. I really do appreciate each and every one of you, and I hope you have a wonderful day.